You're familiar with the Oregon Constitution, correct?
Yes.
I would hope. You're familiar with Article 4, Section 9?
Mr. Chair, Senator Olsen, I am generally familiar with our Oregon Constitution. I'm generally familiar that there are certainly rights that senators and other public officials in this state have. I do not have that provision in front of me at the moment.
Which is fine. I just get to the point. It states in Article 4, Section 9 that nor shall a member for words uttered in debate in either house be questioned in any other place. The statement that Senator Boquist made was in debate in the chamber on the floor. So my assumption to the Constitution and relating to it that the second half of the concern, the hell brought to President Courtney, would not be allowed because it was in debate. So I would think that we would only be dealing with one issue than with the Oregon State Police. Am I incorrect in that assumption?
Mr. Chair, Senator Olsen, I believe it is outside the scope of my relationship with the branch and also my expertise to give you a constitutional opinion as to whether or not Senator Boquist's statement, either all of it or a portion of it, was an exercise in free speech. I think that is something I just think that's outside the scope. My concern and my recommendation was we have threats of violence in the workplace. We have reports of employees feeling intimidated. I think ultimately if there is a finding recommendation that will be part of the process, but there are certain types of speech and threats of violence that do go outside of the First Amendment protections. I'm not here in any capacity to render an opinion one way or the other on that.
Follow up? Thank you very much. I appreciate your comment on that, but on the floor we sometimes get heated. I was chastised because I used the word hypocrisy, and I thought it was a very legitimate term to use, but I was chastised for the fact that it perhaps could impugn my colleagues, and I would never want to do that because we all take this job very seriously. We try to do the best we can, and one person's opinion shouldn't outweigh another person's opinion. So we try to avoid getting into those conflicts. But in the fact, it is a fact that in the Constitution it says those words uttered in debate. And it's exactly what we were doing. We were debating issues. We were talking. One could lay on a definition of hell brought down on you, whether that rises to the occasion of a threat. I find it difficult to believe, but once again, it's uttered in debate. We've argued many times. I've been here 8 years, and Senator Prozanski and I have gone round and around many times on different issues. But the fact is that since this was sincerely directed at the president, the other 29 of us, or at that time 28 of us, did not receive that wrath. It wasn't directed at us. And the senator certainly did apologize in the debate, and I repeat, in the debate that was taking place on the floor. So my conclusion would be that since it was on the floor and we were in debate, that this particular report or non-report, since the president did not report, be removed from this action. And then when one speaks to the second action on the OSP, it was made in this building, but it was directed if they came to his home in the Dalles. So my question is, how does that relate back to this building then, other than the fact that he was a senator and stated it in this building?
Mr. Chair, Senator Olsen, again, I'm not here to opine on a constitutional analysis, but I would not look at it that narrowly. When we're talking about threats in the workplace or conduct that may be intimidating to employees, I think we need to look more broadly versus just, the statement was directed to President Courtney, for example. There are employees who sit up with President Courtney. There are employees who walk in and out of the chamber. There are other senators present. The reports that I received, which I found to be credible, are if he's willing to threaten the President of the Senate, if he's willing to threaten the Oregon State Police, what will stop him from harming me? So I
Mr.
would.
Chair, I object to that.
Hang on 1 second. Everyone that's here, you're here to be observing. If you have comments that you want to make, you're going to need to leave the room. One thing I will not tolerate is having individuals make comments from the gallery while we're ongoing with this investigation. We're glad that you're here, but please respect our rules. Thank you.
So,
Senator
Mr.
Olsen.
Chair, I object to that statement because it's an assertion predicated on your own, what's the term I want to use? On your own decision that you made as a credible threat.
Well,
Now, you're passing on this assertion that he could possibly do something else in the workplace, and that's not right, because this is not a court of law, and what you're saying is your own opinion and it's hearsay.
All right, so this isn't a court of law, and we shouldn't be treating the witness as if it's
I appreciate that, but she
So-
can't be making statements on the record like that.
She can. That's her statements, that's her position as to her, as being our counsel. You can accept it or not accept it, but that is what she's here to tell us
Then I
as to our perspective.
then I challenge that statement because it's an assumption she's making.
That's fine. All right, let me just follow up on a couple of things.